All right. So a few things. Um, the bell rings at 7:30. The late bell rings at 7:30. After 7:30, you're late. I think people don't understand that. After 7:30, you are considered late. You're late because the party bell rings at 7:30. They start letting y'all in the building at 7 o'clock. 7:30, you're late. Um, 7:45, you have to check in with a parent or guardian. So remember that. I think people forget. They don't really. I don't know what. I don't know how y'all don't know that. But anyway, because this is like the whatever. 7:10 to 7:30. That's 20 minutes to get to class. Some people be at my door at 7 o'clock. So I don't know. They be standing here. I don't know. Some people beat me to class. So I don't know. Like if I'm like in the copy room or signing in, they be standing here. So all I know is 7:30 you late. So I must be asking if you're not in your seat at 7:30. Not absent party. And if 7:45, you need to just make sure you look at your watch and go. You gotta get signed in, checked in. All right. Today we're gonna go over some notes. You will have some time to work on your project. Today is the last day to work on it in class. Um, Anything after that, y'all have to do it on your own at home or whatever. It is due Monday when you come in here. It's not gonna be time to work on it. Will be no supplies over here Monday. I'll be gone. I'm gonna give Miss Hill her glue back, and I'm gonna lock all the rest of my stuff up. So, um, that's that. Remember, you have a summary. It's only a paragraph telling me why you chose what you chose and why you placed them there. Just a paragraph at minimum. I have it. You can do either or. I have it on Schoology. You can type it. I got some people yesterday just they put it in here. If you decide to write it, just make sure your name is on it. Put it right there. So because I'm gonna probably start grading. I got some people turning their project yesterday, so I'm probably gonna start grading today. Make sure y'all spell things right because I saw something Walmart was spelled wrong. So unless this is new school Walmart, but it was spelled wrong. It had two L's in it. End of the 9 weeks is next Friday. So if you have any missing work, you need to make sure that you turn it in. You get report cards on the 21st. Tuesday is testing for pre-ACT for 10th graders. Only 10th graders are coming to school. 11th and 12th graders have an asynchronous, and 9th graders have an asynchronous learning day. So only 10th graders that are testing will be coming to school on Tuesday. So don't come here if you ain't supposed to be here because you ain't getting here with me. Well, y'all don't have me anyway. That's all day. So we found that out yesterday. So it's asynchronous learning day. So if you need to get your work together, that day might be the day to get it done for whatever class you're missing work in, because it's an asynchronous learning day. Tomorrow you can wear a blue shirt with your khaki bottoms for anti-bullying campaign. Remember, I record all conferences because I have people that come in and they look at me and they say, I'm in quarantine. And I say, everything's on Schoology. So if you're absent, you're quarantined, everything's on Schoology. So you can listen to the conferences, write down what I tell them to write down. You can get your notes from somebody else, but everything you need is on there. If you need a paper copy of something, you have to tell me, because you don't do it on Schoology, or if you're not doing the quizzes, on with using the link with your phone or computer or whatever, then I'm just gonna assume that you're just not gonna do it and your zero gonna stay in there. So if you need a paper copy, if you don't tell me, I'm not just gonna walk around like, hey, you want one? Hey, you want one? Say something. I got too many students to try to keep up with to know. So you have to say something. I'm just gonna assume you don't want to do it and you got a 0. So if you have been absent or you were quarantined, this is your makeup folder here. It has everything in there that we've done this 9 weeks. It has notes linked in there. It has the safety test in there. Safety test. I have it set. If you do not make a 100, you need to take it again because you have to make a 100. So it's set for you to go back in and you can retake it. So you just retake it until you get the 100. That is what the state says that if you're in any career tech class, that in that class, whatever safety procedures they go over with you, you have to make 100% on the safety test. So everything is there. Quizzes are there that we've done. Notes are there that we've done. Study guide is there. All right. So next week, probably y'all will have y'all's last test, y'all last major grade next Friday. Because we're not gonna do notes the whole period today. I'm gonna let y'all work on y'all's projects, and then Monday we'll probably finish the notes. I have a study guide for y'all for that test, so I'll do that, or I'll probably just put them right here. Y'all can grab it if you want one. It's also gonna be on Schoology. I don't care if you do it, if you write it and turn it in, if you write on the paper, turn it in, or if you do it online. It don't matter to me as long as you turn it in. I just know some people like to write, because they study, but like they're visual. They have to have something like a piece of paper to look at. I'm that way. Like I like to write things down because I remember it if I write it. So, if you want to do it, if you want to have a copy, just to have a copy, it's fine. But I'm gonna play some here in a little bit. I think the study guide is it's gonna be a grade, so it needs to be completed. It'll be due the day of your test, so it'll be due on Friday as well, next Friday as well. So we'll do some notes today, and I believe we're gonna take a quiz because we're almost done with the notes. We started the notes on Tuesday, so it'll be just those notes from Tuesday and today, and then let y'all work on y'all's project. Does anybody have any questions? So when y'all are working on y'all's project, if you need a paper copy of a quiz that you have not taken, because I gave everybody sticky notes the other day of which I was missing, then just say, let me know. All right. All right, so we're gonna talk about consumer responsibilities. We're gonna talk about understanding the importance of patient-centered care. We're gonna make connections between treatment success and patient responsibilities, advocacy, and compliance.
The same team.
All right, so the modern approach to healthcare relies on a good working relationship between the patient and the healthcare team. Just as consumers have responsibilities when purchasing goods and services, they also have responsibilities related to their health and wellness. It's important for healthcare providers as well as patients to acknowledge that they are both on the same team and working toward the same goal, healthy people. That is why healthcare providers encourage patients and family members to become invested in their own healthcare. This is referred to as patient-centered care.
Patient-centered care.
All right. So, what patient-centered care is a partnership between healthcare providers and the patient. Healthcare providers should consult patients about their preferences, needs, and values for treatment. The patient's care plan should reflect the person's goals in addressing medical, mental, and social needs. Patient-centered care should involve and empower the patient. Oh, All right, so you need to know that patient-centered care empowers the patient. Patient-centered care empowers the patient. So in order for this to work, the healthcare provider must be able to communicate treatment options. So you should not just go with the first thing the doctor says. Like, it should be like multiple options, and you just make the best decision for you. Healthcare providers have the obligation and responsibility to act as an advocate for the patient by presenting them with options that are safe and effective. Patient-centered care empowers the patient.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So here we go. We have this problem. What are we gonna do? Of course we're gonna solve. But what are we gonna do? Hold on. Yeah, what now? Can we do like terms? Remember, we can only do like terms when they're on the same side, equal side. So, do you have like terms over here? No. Do you have like terms over here? No. You can only do like terms when they're on the same side, equal side. Yes, ma'am. What you got? You gonna minus that? Yeah, we could. We go ahead and add 9 to both sides. Remember, the way somebody else worked the problem may not be the way you work the problem. But in this case, we're saying we're gonna add 9 to both sides.
All right.
Patient responsibilities. While health,
Even though healthcare providers have responsibilities, as a patient, you have responsibilities as well. You've learned that healthcare providers must have good communication skills, but the same is true of patients. Patients should be prepared to discuss their concerns, wishes, and goals. Patients must also advocate for themselves with healthcare providers and follow through on items in the treatment plan that are their responsibility. And which type of care should the patient be consulted regarding preferences, needs, and values for treatment? Patient-centered care. Who has the responsibility of clear communication regarding patient care decisions? Right, so you got your healthcare provider and you got your patient. So everybody plays a part in that.
self-advocacy. How do patients?
All right, so how do patients advocate for themselves? A big part of self-advocacy is being an informed consumer. Imagine buying a car without doing any research or a test drive. Patients should be just as thorough about understanding their healthcare treatment options. So here are some ways to practice self-advocacy. Request copies of your medical records, review your medical records and use patient portals, ask questions, research treatment options, learn the pros and cons of options, including cost. All right, so you need to know that one way to practice self-advocacy is to research treatment options. One way to practice self-advocacy is to research treatment options.
Everybody's gonna be probably doing something a little different. So with everybody doing something a little different, there's no reason to talk. We're not doing anything together.
Good morning, Jeff Davis. I'm not gonna keep you long, but good morning. I just want to make a few announcements. Just a reminder that the Beta Club interest meeting is today in room 139. starts at 2:50. The Beta Club interest meeting is today, room 139, begins at 2:50. So after the bell ring, please report immediately to 139 if you are interested in the Beta Club. Also, students continue to get to class on time, get to class on time, get to class on time. Also, teachers, please explain, go over with your students about the asynchronous day and testing that's going to start on the 12th. Just go over that before I say something to them. Just go over that with them in class. Our volleyball team faces Lee today at 4:30. This is last game of the season, so if you're able to come out and show support, please do so. Okay, teachers and students, have a great day.
So the asynchronous learning day is what I already told y'all about. Tuesday, only 10th graders will come to school. Because they're the only people that are testing that day.
So I ain't got fun. So I ain't got fun.
Are you in the 10th grade?
All right.
Thought it was really cut and dry there.
Just making sure.
Like black and white, just straight to the point.
All right, Miss Henry.
You wasn't here the first time I said it though.
I said, all right, wow.
Because I was talking to the people that were late. Oh, you were late though, just not that late.
Patient compliance.
All right. Along with self-advocacy, patients should be compliant with their treatment plan. Patient compliance is cooperation with or obedience to a prescribed treatment plan. Patient compliance could be as simple as taking prescribed medications as instructed. It can also involve responsibilities such as making dietary changes, quitting smoking, or starting an exercise plan. Other issues related to patient compliance involve acknowledging that there are limits, that medical care comes with a certain degree of risk, that healthcare providers can make errors, and that healthcare providers are obligated to treat all people equally. So if you have a patient that, say you have, and people do this all the time, say you have some type of infection, say you have like a sinus infection, and you go to the doctor, they prescribe you to take antibiotics for 2 weeks. Well, after day 6, you start to feel better, so you stop taking the antibiotics. That's being non-compliant. Because if you don't take the full prescribed amount, there's a possibility that the infection's gonna come back. Because that's the reason why they prescribed it for 2 weeks. Some things you might take for 7 days. So that's that's what's called being non-compliant. You got patients that refuse things. They come to the hospital. I guess they at the hotel. I don't know, but they come and then you go in there to do stuff and they don't want anything. Like, then stay home. So why are you here? But it happens. So other things, there are risks to everything. There's risk to medicine that you take. So my suggestion would be to anything you're prescribed, research it. You can, go to WebMD. Usually if you pick up a prescription at the pharmacy, they have a little printout of what the medicine is, side effects, and all that stuff. Research it. Don't just take it because the doctor told you to. Because some medicines interact with each other. It might be a medicine you forgot to tell them that you're on, and he prescribed the medicine anyway. So just be aware. Healthcare providers do make errors. I mean, they're human, just like everybody else. Sometimes those errors do cost them their jobs and their licenses sometimes. But they do make errors. And as a healthcare provider, we're supposed to treat everybody equally. So what you got going on, what you feel about this, should not affect the way that I treat you as my patient. All right, asking questions and researching treatment options is an example of what? Self-advocacy. Taking medications as prescribed by a healthcare provider is an example of what? Patient compliance.
Patient's Bill of Rights. Fine.
All right, so being a responsible healthcare consumer also includes being aware of the patient's Bill of Rights. The patient's Bill of Rights has 8 key points. You have right to emergency treatment, right to respect, right to informed consent, right to refuse treatment, right to choose providers, right to privacy, right to appeal, and patient responsibilities. So for this patient bill of rights, you need to write down right to informed consent, right to privacy, and right to emergency treatment. So right to emergency treatment, right to informed consent, and right to privacy.
Look,
Remember those
there
three.
should be any talking. All you do is answer to the roll.
And the emergency treatment means like if you don't have insurance, you go to the emergency room, they're still going to see you because that's the patient's bill of rights. It says that if you have an emergency that needs to be seen about, they're going to treat you. Now you might have a bill after all this treatment, but they're going to treat you. Right to emergency treatment, right to informed consent, right to privacy. Good morning. Right to emergency treatment, right to informed consent, right to privacy.
Alright, so you got your sheet of paper out, you place your name, today's date, class period, all that good stuff on there. You label it linear measure, because that's what I asked you to do, label it linear measure. So go ahead and get that done for me, please. No conversation, it doesn't take conversation to write. What you need, Hood? I got you, huh? Ladies back here, do y'all need food or something? Just asking, do y'all need food or something? Everybody good?
You not still writing?
Telling you to stop talking.
Right to privacy. Right to respect privacy and to refuse treatment are all parts of the patient bill of rights. It's true.
Lesson summary. In this lesson, what you'll learn.
All right, so we're going to talk about technology and emerging issues. Objectives are to explain why it's important for healthcare providers to be adaptable, flexible, and quick learners to keep up with emerging issues, define and understand the importance of bioethics, understand the importance of lifelong learning to the discovery, implementation, and success of new health technologies. So even though, because medicine, technology is changing, so medicine is changing, we still have to keep up. Like you're still always learning. Like I still have to do
Impact of emerging issues.
like classes for my license to practice in the state of Alabama, which expires this month. So I still have to do like learning. Now everything is usually web based. They have live webinars that I have to attend. I have to do so many live webinars, and then I could do some self study ones. So it just depends on what state you work in, what their requirements are. All right, so impact of emerging issues. Advancements in science and technology and medicine are constantly weaving new threads into the fabric of healthcare systems. So rather than a simple, repeatable pattern, healthcare systems evolve into increasingly complex patterns as new discoveries are made and applied. The impact of these emerging issues and technologies results in changes in healthcare delivery systems that are frequent, fast, and challenging. Healthcare providers must be adaptable, flexible, and quick learners, not only to keep up with emerging issues, but also to adopt and support them. Then you got older people that just don't like change, so sometimes it's harder for them to grasp like the new concepts and stuff.
Advancements in technology.
All right, so by the time this lesson is published, the technological advancements mentioned here might be old news. Even so, it's important to be aware of the types of advancements that affect healthcare systems. You have mobile stroke units. It might look like a regular ambulance. However, inside the vehicle is specifically equipped with a diagnostic imaging machine, that's a CT machine, that quickly shows whether a patient's stroke is being caused by a blood clot or a hemorrhage. A blood clot can then be treated immediately. Because when people have strokes, it's important to try to get them somewhere because it's depending on what type of stroke they have, it's medicine that you can give them that can help but if they don't get treatment, then outcome might be bad. It just depends on which type of stroke. Because some people can have a stroke and it just take them completely out. Some people can have a stroke and it just might affect like one side of their body. Wireless wearable sensors. The fascinating thing about wireless wearable sensors isn't just the impressive technology that is used. These devices are dramatically changing the traditional practice of in-office visits and scheduled tests. These monitors are ushering in a new way of delivering healthcare called telehealth or telemedicine. So we talked about telemedicine. They have things now. We had to do a genetic test for my 16-year-old. Normally you had to go into the doctor or a lab or something. They just sent me something in the mail and I swabbed their sheet and I sent it back to them, and then they can, so it's technology is, they even got at home COVID testing. They got all kind of at home. They got DNA like paternity. They got HIV tests. So they got all kind of things. And then you got like, your Apple Watch can take your EKG, basically tell your heart rate. All right, miniature wireless pacemakers. There's nothing small about the impact these miniature life-saving devices are having. This leadless version of the pacemaker eliminates some of the considerable risk present in versions with leads. The future could bring a version that uses kinetic energy as fuel rather than the minuscule 10-year battery life that is currently used. My daughter doesn't have a pacemaker, but she has this implant in her chest that's supposed to help with her seizures. And so they say that the battery for that one is supposed to be 10 years, but the first time she got it put in, we had to change the battery in 9 months. And then she just got another one. I think that was about a year and a half ago. Well, she got a whole new device because they got a new one that come out. So, but the battery life depends on the patient. So they say 10 years, but spectral CT, it makes it possible to visually see the difference between tissues in the scan, making it possible to both detect and identify in a single scan. This can reduce cost and greatly reduce patient anxiety by getting a faster diagnosis. However, spectral CT scans can take longer, affecting scheduling processes. The technique also creates a larger scan file sizes and requires more processing power. I think y'all need to know about this. With technological advancements, make it possible to visually see the difference between tissues and the scan. All right, spectral CT. Which technological advancements helping healthcare transition from traditional in-office visits to telehealth or telemedicine?
Alright, look at your handout. Make sure
What
you
is it?
understand what you're looking for. So for questions 1 through 4, they want you to tell me what X,
You say it's not that one. Which one is it?
X, Y is
You
not
thinking?
the same thing in each question, so you need to make sure you're paying attention to where X, Y is located. You're gonna tell what X, Y is equal to. On 5 through 8, you're gonna tell what is the value of X. The only thing you're doing
Somebody said D and somebody said A.
is tell them what the value of X.
You said A?
If you don't show any work, you will not get the grade.
Who said D?
9 through 10,
Y'all
it's
said
giving you
D?
a whole series of
A's not it.
It's not drawing
D.
a picture for you, but
Wireless wearable sensors.
it's telling you
See right here.
equation.
Advancements in technology.
Solve the equation. Then you gotta find what X, AC, CB, and AB are all equal to.
Right here.
X, AC, CB, and AB are all equal to. That's what
Bioethics.
All right. So with new technologies, discoveries, and emerging issues in health science, the application of ethics is critical. Applying ethics to healthcare is called bioethics. Bioethics is a blending of humanities and science. It combines philosophy, theology, and law with medicine, nursing, and healthcare policies. For each groundbreaking discovery, bioethicists must consider whether or not the discovery is the right and good thing to do based on several medical principles. The most basic of those principles are autonomy, justice, beneficence, and non-maleficence. So you need to know basic principles of bioethics. Just write the bold words. So you have autonomy, justice, beneficence, and non-maleficence. So basic principles of bioethics is autonomy, justice, beneficence, and non-maleficence.
Bioethics. With new tech.
Just don't even talk.
Bioethics. With new tech.
All right, which principle of bioethics states that the intent of the treatment must be for the good of the patient? All right, beneficence. All right, healthcare providers must be able to make decisions concerning patient healthcare autonomously without coercion and with knowledge of risk and benefits.
Addiction. In the
All right, so addiction, it used to be viewed as a choice that could be cured with the application of enough willpower. While the paths taken that result in addiction are not widely discussed, addiction itself has been termed a medical mental health disease and referred to as a substance abuse disorder. As a disease, addiction biologically alters the brain in regards to memory, motivation, and reward. Because addiction is recognized as a medical disease, treatment has broadened and become more accessible to those that need it. Additionally, addiction is typically now treated by a team of healthcare providers in order to address the physical, mental, and psychological aspects that a patient might require.
essential lifelong.
Trends, technology, and emerging issues affect many things. Most obviously, they positively affect the quality of healthcare that patients receive. In addition, emerging issues and new discoveries and inventions can impact healthcare systems. They can impact the skills healthcare workers need to have. They can impact patient responsibilities, and they can impact the physical environment and scheduling within healthcare delivery systems. All of those things require that patients and healthcare providers be flexible and willing to learn and adapt to new ideas. And at its core, the continued exploration and study of medicine, disease, and health are essential to improving and prolonging the health of the population. The spirit and pursuit of lifelong learning will continue to lead to remarkable life-saving discoveries. All right, so addiction is recognized as what? Medical mental health disorder, trans technology, and emerging issues. What do they do? Huh? Right. So they positively affect the quality of health care that patients will receive. They impact the physical environment and scheduling within healthcare systems, and they encourage a spirit and pursuit of lifelong learning among healthcare providers. There's something I think I forgot to tell you to write down. Let me see.
What you'll learn, the same team. Patient-centered care. Patient responsibilities. While healthcare providers have many self-advocacy, patient compliance, along with self-advocacy, patient's bill of rights. Lesson summary. In this lesson, epidemiology.
Hurry up, because I'm about to take a quiz. Yes, quiz, Q-U-I-Z.
Technology trends. The healthcare industry is constantly.
So quizzes is on what we took notes on today, and which I took notes on Tuesday. So if you got your notes, we should be good. If you need a paper copy of the quiz, I can give you that. You only got 2 minutes per question. I think it's that for 2 half questions. Does anybody need a paper copy? Anybody else want a paper copy?
Paper copy. So they ain't got to do it on the phone. It's more time.
Huh?
It's more time.
Everybody in? term given to total good health is wellness. Why they put healthy living? Alright, which of the following is not part of the patient's Bill of Rights? I told y'all which 3 to write down. So this is the correct answer. It shouldn't have been on your paper. Right to 100% cost coverage by health insurance. Patients have no responsibilities regarding their health care. That is false. They do have responsibilities. Which of the following is a way to practice self-advocacy? Research treatment options. Y'all wrote that down today. Mr. Bear was diagnosed with bronchitis and prescribed a 2-week course of antibiotics. After 4 days, he's feeling better, so he stops taking his antibiotic. What is this an example of? It's an example of not being compliant. He's not doing what was prescribed of him. Which of the following is true about patient-centered care? It empowers the patient. Another one y'all wrote down today. An epidemiologist is likely to do which of the following? Epidemiology is the study of diseases, so cancer is a disease. So if you're a doctor that studies diseases, you're going to research the cause of cancer. Which of the following is a basic principle of bioethics? Autonomy and justice. Which of the following is an example of cost containment, treatment in outpatient settings? What factors make up wellness? All of those make up wellness. Yeah, emotional and social, intellectual and spiritual, physical.